I don't see the whole gatekeeping in regards to Twitch. I want to see people succeed as much as they want to see me succeed.
Yeah.
And I think that's there's nothing wrong with that.
There isn't anything wrong.
It's not support for support or anything like that. But
No.
why should that be gatekeeping? Because I don't stream all the time.
No.
And I would rather my community was supporting somebody else that was live from our very community.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially if they spent time to get to know people in the community as well. There's a very vast difference to someone who's been in there for like a day or two, who can probably smell that they're trying to clout chase and use you to climb up, rather than someone who's actually there to enjoy the company of you and others and just have a good time in there. Like their ulterior motive is just to have fun. Like everything else is secondary, you know?
Yeah.
No,
I'm in agreement.
Just on the subject of S4S, support for support, if anyone isn't aware, there are some very shady schemes and discords out there who will force you to watch other people in the hope that you will get just kind of like they have a schedule of when they go live. They are told when to go live, and you are told to go watch them as they are live. And if you can't give a good enough reason as to why you can't tune into these people, then you will be kicked out of the quote unquote family and out of it. And it's a very toxic way to treat Twitch. And unfortunately, there's so many of these discords around. One of the I don't care about name dropping. One of the ones who I've had the unpleasantness of crossing paths with too many of their members was Streamers Paradise. Anyone is a member of that, I strongly advise leaving. I think it was somebody who was in my community was offered to have a word with the leader, and he kept making excuses to explain why his Discord wasn't S or whatever. But didn't know it was a thing. We're not surprised. Oh yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing because too many people want people look at Twitch. It's not mainly these kind of streamers, but they're the easiest ones for me to use example of. It's use example of Fortnite and COD streamers, Warzone streamers, who watch all these big content creators, and it's just an instant assumption that, oh yeah, I could do that, and they just assume that when they go live and when they press that go live button, they just assume and hope that people will just flock to that channel. But what they don't realize is all the work that goes on offline to divert that traffic to them. Sound desperate as buying viewers. It's honestly just it's just bad as buying viewers, to be honest. They don't understand like the networking side of it. They don't understand like the fact that you can the whole like creating content offline. A lot of your work, if a lot of the time when people ask how much work do I need to do in streams, like most of the work you do is offline, like your visuals, your sound alerts, your stream froze again. No, it boils down to a lot of people don't actually want to put in the work offline, so they want quick shortcuts to get to. And it goes back to the start when we talked about the start, where people get obsessive over numbers, like their follower count, their sub goal, and they make a lot of comparisons then to other streamers about their numbers. It's like, oh yeah, but I'm pulling like 50 viewers, and like on the black and white of it, it looks amazing. It's like, oh my god, they're getting 50 viewers playing COD, Fortnite, blah blah blah, without realizing that all of that is all forced viewership. It's all people forced to tune into that in the hope that like they all set up a lot of. Right, let's just blow the S4S Discord out of the water here. What these S4S Discords will do is when you're in, you have to tell them your streaming days and the days that you go live and the hours that you stream. And you will get put into a schedule along with other streamers. and you're supposed to tell the people in charge of whatever Discord is. You're supposed to tell them whose stream you're going to go in, and you need to tell once that streamer has finished and gone offline. You then need to say, "I visited so and so stream," and then that gets marked against your name, saying, "Oh, right, they were in that stream and they followed that raid into blah blah blah." So this is how they say you're an active member. If you start being inactive in that, you might have a very good reason for it. You might have a very distressing situation to deal personally. That will go against you regardless, no matter how good the excuse is. You might have a death in the family, you might have lost a pet, you might have gone through something very traumatic, you might have gone through anything that causes you personal pain that you just can't deal with streaming or the Twitch sphere for whatever reason. That will go against you, and you will eventually find yourself down the pecking order because everything is leveled. You're given certain levels and ranks and titles. And the only people it benefits in these whole S4S discords are the people at the top, because it all feeds back into them. It all makes their numbers look good. It makes their follower count look overinflated, their view count overinflated, the sub count overinflated, because they pass subs around like the donation tray at church. Everyone shares a bit of it. If so and so subs to you, they have to go sub back to you. If so and so raid into you, you got to raid back into them. And God forbid if you raid into someone else when you're on a scheduled raid train. It's honestly, if they were new in here, I think Seamanda said she didn't know.
Yeah, Shugs didn't know though.
Yeah, Shogo, Seamanda. If anyone approaches you and it looks like it's basically a pyramid scheme. Someone is only people that benefit are the ones at the top. And once you get caught into it, if you're deep in with it, the moment you leave, I've seen it. Kit's seen it. The moment you leave, all of those followers go, all of those viewers go, and it makes a lot of people quit because it gets into their heads. Because obviously they go from having 20, 30, 40 people in their chat. It doesn't matter. They don't care if it's forced viewership. All they see is 20, 30, 40 people in their chat. Once they leave the Discord and they're out of that Discord, all of that goes.
Yeah.
And it causes a lot of people to leave the entire streaming scene because they don't believe in themselves to get up to that level on their own. It's all solely relying on this shady practice of forced viewership, inflated figures, inflated numbers to make themselves look better because they assume right from the start that Twitch is a numbers game, and your value as a content creator and your value as, you know, your opinion only matters if you have big numbers, which isn't necessarily the case. But it feeds back into how we started the conversation of Twitch being very, you don't, Twitch can be fun so long as you don't make it number centric. You don't, it doesn't matter how many viewers are in there. Like Kit said at the start, you should never ever worry about the people who don't turn up. You should only worry about the ones who are there you're trying to entertain. Because if you start worrying about the people who aren't there, it's disrespectful to the ones who have turned up for you, whether it's for 5 minutes, whether it's for an hour, short part, half a stream, the full stream. Always focus on the ones you have there because they're the ones you're entertaining. You can't entertain people who aren't there. So if anyone who is new here or didn't know anything about it, if anyone approaches you for like invite you to a Discord, and you look in there and you see like schedules of raid trains like that, just leave immediately. Don't interact, just leave immediately. Because it will honestly ruin you mentally, because it'll make you focus so much on numbers and so much on, it'll make you panic about if you miss someone's stream when you're supposed to watch it as well. It's just no good for your mental well-being moving forward. And people that are there, they're taking time out of their day. Exactly, Mars. Exactly. And it makes you more grateful for the people who are there when you actually do it off your own back and actually do things properly, you know? I'm you've probably seen people get deep into it, and then when they leave and come out of it, the desire to make content is just evaporates instantly. Which is what I like about the community you've made, because you haven't made it about streaming. It's literally about gaming and people finding each other through their gaming and their hobbies, and they can share their passion with other people within it, which is what it should be. Yeah, that's my little rant on S4S. I've clashed many heads on it, and they'll always say the same thing: "Oh, you're just a hater, or you don't understand, or blah 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 blah." It doesn't matter. I'd rather have people who want to be here rather than people who are forced to be here. Very big difference.
Yeah.
Very big difference. And I know you're the same way inclined.
Yeah, because I think with those support things as well, you've got to go in and you've got to say hi,
Yeah.
you say like a particular code, sentence, or word or something.
Yeah.
Right? Or like, hi, I'm from whatever Discord or whatever team. Hi, I'm from such and such team.
Yeah.
I'm here to lurk.
Yeah.
And that registers your lurk, but you've also got to go in to the Discord, right?
Yeah.
You've got to go into the Discord and also check in that you are lurking this particular streamer.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're finished, say that you've checked in and you've finished lurking or finished watching.
Yeah.
Right? To then gain a point in this Discord.
Yeah, because there's...
And if you're like losing on the leader tables for like support,
yeah,
they knock you down.
Yeah.
Like
if I think
they start harassing you.
There's some, if you're in there for so long and you haven't accrued enough points, then they kick you out.
Yeah.
They kick you out if you've been inactive for X amount of time. They will only raid you if you hit a certain level within it as well. Like they'll have organized raid trains, and you will only get put on that train once you hit whatever tier that they have endorsed onto it. But the only person that it actually benefits out of all of it is the person at the top. Whoever creates and owns a Discord, that's the one. Or in some cases, the 2, 3, 4 people who created it, that's the only one that benefits. And the only reason why they benefit from it, and this is going to sound harsh, the only reason why they set them up is because their content is shit.
Yes.
Their content is lackluster. It's the same old shit you will find anywhere. There's nothing special about it. But they sell the dream of you getting big numbers by saying, we're a family, we'll help you grow. Look, this is all the people that we've helped. And they'll use a lot of manipulative tactics by saying, we'll help you grow. We've already helped X amount of people to affiliate. That's the big one. It's like, oh, we've already helped like 80 people to reach affiliates, and some of them got within a week. And like, obviously affiliate is a really tasty early nugget for people to go from, because as soon as people hit affiliate, it's like, oh, I can start making money from, what I stream, what I do. So they market it very manipulatively. But really what they're selling you is they're selling you a Ferrari, but once you scratch the badge off, it's actually a Vauxhall. That's basically what it is. It's something I hope that it's a very early beginner's trap. Because like when we're all starting off, we're all trying to find our feet. I think we've all been there where we've tried to find ways to maybe cut corners to maybe accelerate growth a little bit. So it is an easy trap to fall into. But I would always advocate against anyone ever joining them, because they are very, very toxic. And the moment you leave, or the moment you try to speak out about it, they will drag your name everywhere. They'll drag your name through every Discord that they can, every group that they can, all over Twitch, all over Twitter, all of it. They will drag your name absolutely everywhere. So it's just not worth the hassle in the long run. Like, the numbers might look good, but at the end of the payout, the trade off for it is unhealthy. Don't you put your hand to me.
Oh, I was getting
Easy trap for a younger audience too, maybe.
You'd be surprised how many people in the 30s and 40s have fallen for it. Like, there are people like our age that have literally that run these support for small things as well.
Yeah.
Like, disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because people are so eager to like first like to cut corners.
Mm.
And then of course if you leave the Discord or the Discord gets shut down or whatever, you get kicked from it, all that support leaves in your mental health Discord.
Yeah.
I've seen people who used to be good people get caught up in support, lose all that support, and then turn into some of the most vile fucking people ever
Mm-hmm. And it,
because they become really angry.
because the number growth goes straight to the head, and once
Yeah.
when they watch that just slowly, not very slowly, but plummet very very quickly,
Yeah.
the ego comes out. Then it's like, well, I streamed to 50 people last week, and I'm streaming to 2. Like, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
it's so it's not so much like it appeals to a younger audience. It appeals to anyone who wishes to take corn, no matter how old.
Hmm.
And I'm glad the Seaman is actually here, was here to listen about it, because we're glad that we warned you, Seaman, because we know you're fairly new to the content creating and the streaming. So
Yeah.
after that first stream, team, I learned. Like Mars said, like we all learn the hard way sometimes. Like we've all, I think sometimes we, especially when we're starting out, because we don't know any better, we unwittingly walk into it. And and because we don't know any better, like it just, to us it just seems like a welcoming, helpful community, but without fully understanding like the undertones to it and the
Hmm.
caveat that's behind it. It's just not worth. Yeah, I remember I won't mention the name, but I fell into one of those traps where basically a streamer was allowing self promotion in their chat, and that's basically how they grew. And their whole Discord was all about self promotion for others. So he obviously got a lot of audience members wanting to go into chat to promote themselves and go into the Discord and promote themselves, and obviously try and increase the numbers that way. And the moment
Hmm.
he was streaming to like triple figures, and then I left it because it just got silly in the end. I didn't benefit anything from it, but I left it anyway. Um, and I saw him streaming a few months later. And bear in mind, the same streamer who streamed 100 people, he stopped doing the self promo stuff, and he was now streaming to 6. So it just goes to show that like some people, there's it. Go back to what Kit said, that he presented himself early on was someone who, on the outlay, wanted to help others. So he was allowing all this self promotion and then, giving tips to grow and other people to, find other people and self promoting as his chat. But the moment he stopped doing that, everyone was like, "Oh, fuck that! I'm out of here, leaving." And all of a sudden and I don't think he streams anymore. I don't think he's been active in a while, which just goes to show like he created something to induce all the numbers, and then the moment he stopped it, everyone was like, "Well, fuck this! I'm out of here."
Yeah,
Yeah,
you tend to find that as well, is that as soon as people feel like they can't self promote, they'll not come back.
yeah,
Right? Which is why I always, and I think I put it into mine, is that I will always say, I don't mind you talking about your streams as long as I ask first,
yes,
or as long as it's relevant to the conversation.
mm,
Like if I've rated you and you want to come in and thank me for the raid that I gave you the day before or whatever like that,
yeah,
like that's relevant to the conversation,
mm,
right? If I say, "Oh, Samantha's, how's your streams been? I'm sorry, I haven't been in a while," or Fuzz, when are you next streaming again?
yeah,
Like, um, or I'll say it Shugs like, "Oh, Shugs, are your commissions open?" kind of thing.
yeah,
Like, regardless of what your line of work or whatever it
mm,
is, or anything like that. Or I'll say to Shugs like, "Oh, are you planning on going back to Dark Souls
yeah,
stuff at some point?" That's relevant to the conversation. I bring that up,
mm,
right? I don't mind talking about that, right? But I've found that if certain people feel like they can't do anything but talk about their streams,
yeah.
they'll not come back.
No, no,
They'll not come back,
no,
right? Because, like I said, I believe that there is plenty of room at my table to share,
yeah,
and I would much rather, if I'm not live, you go and support a member of our community,
mm,
right? Because to me, I think that's all I would want, is to see other people succeed in whatever goals that they are wishing
mm,
for. You know, like if somebody needs emotes, the first person I point them to is
Shugs.
Shogo.
Yeah.
But if Shogo's commissions aren't open, I know other people that I can point them in the
Mm.
direction of, right? If people are, I'll say, oh, like what kind of games do you enjoy, kind of thing. Oh, I really like Dark Souls. I'll go, oh well, Eternal Souls,
Yeah.
and Shogo stream Dark Souls content. If they go, oh, I really like Dead by Daylight, I'll be like, oh, well, Surfer's Ball streams Dead by Daylight content.
Mm.
You know, that kind of stuff. Like somebody had says, oh, what kind of games do you enjoy? I said Monster Hunter. I goes,
Lepus.
Frank, I goes, Mr. Lepus in this
Yeah.
chat loves Monster Hunter, and he came in, he was chit chatting to them, right? I like doing that
Mm.
because I think it builds a sense of community for people.
Yeah.
And also people get really proud of their endeavors that they've accomplished on stream as well.
Mm.
You know, so I go into streams and people go, oh, how's Spiral going? I'll be like, I'm not really that about myself, but hi. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, Spiral's doing really well. And we'll have a chit chat and everything like that. But I don't conform to support for support.
No.
Like you're not gonna come in here and just self promote yourself.
Oh God, no.
Like the thing is, so sometimes I'll say to people, "Oh, when you next live?" and they'll be like, "Oh," and like later today, and I'll be like, "Well, what time?" I don't. The thing is, I'll be like, "Well, what time?" Because if it's coming off and I'm coming off, that reading.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's later on tonight, I can't. Or
Yeah.
if it's like in an hour, I obviously can't. But if you're still on when I read off,
Yeah.
like kind of thing. I don't mind that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Like because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to make it into anything.
No.
I'm not trying to like make it into a career or anything like that.
Mm.
And I'm not. I think I said earlier, I'm not into the gatekeepy thing with streaming either.
No.
Like, I have amazing community members that stream a variety of content.
Mm.
I have people that are mainly there just because they enjoy who I am.
Yeah.
And some of the shit that comes out of my mouth, I think. Was it yesterday? I think I said to everybody else like not to toot my own tits or anything. I was I'm great at these flying levels, and everybody was like, "Well." I think Samantha's like that is one way to describe yes killing these levels. I was like, I know, right? Like, you know. And I just said it. I was like, not toot me on tits. I'm fucking great at these flying levels. Like, it's just fly out. Some people are there just for me.
Yeah.
You know, if I switch to another game, they'd be there regardless.
Mm.
You know, and some are there because they enjoy watching Spiral and want to be part of a challenge run accomplishment.
Mm.
You know, I was there when she accomplished this and was the first person to
I
gain
can't
it.
wait
Kind
for
of
that.
thing.
I can't wait for that moment.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna cry when it happens.
You cry on stream? Never.
No,
never.
But like I said, I've got amazing people in my community that I was there with PV1. That was such an amazing day when we got PV1. Oh my god. But a lot of my community don't stream the same content that I do.
Yeah.
Amanda's Hollow Knight, you stream DBD and a bit of variety, a little bit of horror. Like Shogo's art and Dark Souls and things like Cyberpunk and everything like that is very much a variety streamer. You know, Eternal Souls does anything and everything that he mainly Souls games and Resident Evil and horror. You know, I'm there for the people more than I'm there for the games. Because I personally want people to, from hit list to TLS, will never be TLS, honey, I'm telling you. Crying at the drop of a hat, this one. I'll cry when I get hit list, I'm telling you. Do you know what, right? You guys aren't allowed to let me celebrate until I've gone through the portal in Nasty's loot, right? Because that's when it officially knocks his 120% hit list.
She might cry her tear ducts out.
If I start screaming and crying when I get Nasty knock, be like, bitch, you can still drown in Nasty's loot. Calm your tits, right? And then if I start like, when I get to the room with all the gems, tell us no until I've... Because the thing is, though, if you stand too close to those exploding gem things, you die. Like, so I've got to be really careful. Not until I get through the portal and Nasty's loot are yous allowed
to
You
celebrate
you
it.
have to, yeah, you have to tell me that I'm not allowed to honk my own tits until I've gone through that portal, right? Until I've gone through that portal, I'm not allowed to do it,
I'll buy you a
right?
I'll buy you a scram basket when that happens. I'll be straight on to Just Eat, fucking delivering to you, delivering to your house.
Can
Like,
you imagine? I'd be like, I'm taking a month off. I'll see you later. But I think what I'm there for the person. I want to see people accomplish their stuff, and if I can make a stream, then I can make a stream. This is what the whole thing is. If you don't make my stream, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to support you.
no.
You know, if I can't make your stream, people still turn up to mine,
Mm.
and I appreciate that. You know, and if I can make your stream, then I'll be there.
Yeah.
I always say to people, if I can make it, I'll be there.
Mm.
Right? I have so much love for people in regards to that, but I will never put a black mark on your name for not being in mine
No.
if you can't make it.
No.
You know, if you just want to be there to vibe and see shit happen and all that kind of stuff and be part of a community, then that's all I want. If you can't make it because shit happened, right? You have a life, you
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
job,
Life
you have
happens.
a family.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah.
If you napped a little bit too hard, right? Then who cares? As long as that nap was good, right? You can't show for everything, exactly.
No, it's very true.
So, and I think that pressure to always be there gets to you as well.
Mm.
Very early, like crash in Twitch is feeling like you have to be here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, because there's a lot of emphasis put on you have to be networking when you're offline, but no one ever says like how much you need to do, because there's no magic formula as to how much you need to network, but it shouldn't completely consume you to the point where you're putting your own health second.
Mhm.
Because yes, you do, like, yes, you won't, if you want to meet other people like on stream, you have to go like watch other people, but it doesn't mean you have to watch it every second you're offline, like whenever you can, even if it's just like 5-10 minutes here and there, or if you really enjoy it, you're staying for the whole thing, it's whatever. But there is so, like you've said, there is so much pressure early on, but I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that it's such a vastness of, like, so I mean, even like I've always said, no matter how long you've been streaming, there is still things you can learn on how to do better, and there's always new things popping up. So you're always learning when you're actually, the moment you start to the moment whenever you decide to end, you're always learning from that time period. So even people who've made partner and all that, they're still learning things on how to do things better and how to do things. There's not everyone is, just because someone makes it with the tech doesn't mean that that they know absolutely everything. They may know a lot about the platform, but they don't know everything about that platform, and everyone's views on it will differ depending on the kind of streamer you are, the content you're putting out, the community you're harboring. Everyone's advice when it comes to streaming will be different from person to person. Like mine and Kit's are fairly the same. I'd probably say around the same levels as each other when it comes to streaming and content creation.
Mhm.
About the same. But if you talk
Yeah.
to say like people who play, I don't know, like a completely different genre, like if they're just a strictly just chatting streamer, their advice would be completely different, because their focus isn't on gaming for their channel. Theirs is about, maybe it's an art stream, or maybe they're just talking, or maybe they're a DJ, or maybe playing music, whatever. How they go about their business and what advice they give to you will be completely different to the advice that you would get from someone like Kit and I. So, and it's always been a sphere of it's almost been a sphere of like, you can kind of get back what you put in. It's not always the case, because like, yeah, you can network, but there's no guarantee that just because you showed up in their chat means they're going to show up in yours, or they're going to show you any support back. And I think that can get lost on people sometimes, where they were like, they can pop into your channel for a bit, and then they say it'll be off, and then they'll be back like a few minutes later. It's like, oh, you haven't popped, you haven't popped into my stream or anything like that. And it's kind of, you kind of get the feeling like they popped into you just in the hope that you would show them something back, like almost like, oh, I've scratched your back, now you can scratch mine, kind of deal,
Yeah.
Which goes back into the support conversation you've had. Like, it's all good, it's all well and good getting the support, but like, don't go into someone's channel expecting it back just because you've been there. I if I pop into a streamer's channel, I don't go in there because I expect them to be in mine at some point. I'll just go in there because, like, oh, check them out, new, see what the community's like, and if they like them, I'll stay and whatever. But unfortunately, a lot of people have that mentality because they assume, whether it's what they've been told or whether it's what they believe, could be a combination of a few things, but they believe that just because they said hi in your stream once, hang out for 5 minutes, that's their reasoning for you to go visit them. And then in some occasions it can turn quite nasty, and they can go, well, they're not very supportive because I went into their chat, they said hi, and they never popped back into mine.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it can be quite a dangerous minefield to navigate through Twitch, unfortunately. But as long as you are a bit savvy, and as long as you harbor the right people and harbor the right community, it does take a lot of the mental toll off you, because you're solely focused on one thing, and you're more worried about yourself rather than outside noise, and worrying about people who may or may not turn up. Just worrying about the people that you're cultivating within your own space. That's about right, really, isn't it? Yeah. Because like, you've cultivated a lot of your space, and you've expanded off into Freaks and Geeks, and that's a huge space of like-minded people who have of all different likes and hobbies.
Yeah.
That you've helped cultivate. Started with COVID, and obviously it's been resurrected in the last few months. Hallelujah. But that's obviously something you've created because you want to give that space to people to try and find other people similar to them, but completely away from a streaming environment. It's literally just people sharing hobbies and interests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is like streamers and stuff in there, and I have allowed people to like sign up if they are streamers.
Yeah.
But it's because you can't. Here's the thing: is that there's a lot of crossover with gamers and streamers. A lot of the time, you'll never find people who are. Sorry.
That's right.
There's a lot of time where people will stream and game, so I allow them the outlet to talk about their own streams and everything like that, but there are like certain rules and everything. This is not a support server. This is not a streaming server. This is solely a gaming server.
Yeah.
With the ability to talk about your streaming if needed. Because I would rather these people ask for advice in a server that was safe and didn't have a support mentality than them look for that support in the wrong places.
Yeah.
That's why I've got a streaming and content creation help thingy. That's why I've got like IT support. That's why I've got like game recommendations. I would rather people looked to me or a bunch of other people who are well versed in that than to be looking in a support mentality and end up in something like that.
Yes.
This is a gaming server, but if you do stream, I can offer advice.
Yeah.
I've been on this platform a long time, so
you've seen some things, man.
I've seen some shit, man. I've seen some shit, been through some shit, dealt with some shit. Like,
amen, sister.
We'll be through most of it together.
Yeah, I know, right?